Lele Pons is hiding something shocking from you. Lele Pons is an incredibly popular internet influencer and actress who's been in the headlines a lot recently, though she is hiding something from her fans that you will want to know. But before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring that notification bell to keep up to date with our latest videos. Who is Lele Pons? If you've been living under a rock for the last 5 years, we can't blame you if you've never heard of Lele Pons. She is one of YouTube's top creators, gaining over 16 million subscribers in the last few years. She got her start on Vine, but as soon as Vine ended, she moved her content over to Instagram and YouTube. A large portion of her followers followed her to the new platforms, and she made a massive name for herself in the internet entertainment industry. She currently has over 40 million Instagram followers and uploads content to YouTube all the time, with many of her videos getting over 1 million views within the first 2 weeks. Needless to say, Lele is doing very well for herself and shows no signs of slowing down. She has remained one of internet's most clean-cut creators for over 5 years.
I make videos since I was 16 and I love Shakira crocodiles and eating a lot of pasta.
Lele was born in Venezuela, but moved to the United States when she was just 5 years old. Her parents moved to Miami, Florida, where Lele spent most of her childhood and young adult life. She graduated high school in 2015 and decided to move to Los Angeles as her career and social media had started to take off. She regarded her time in high school quite poorly, saying she always had trouble making friends. She says she would often get herself into strange situations in which she would hurt herself to make others laugh. Lele also mentioned that she was bullied in school, and it seems as though it may have taken a toll on her mental health over the years. She spoke in an interview and mentioned, "I'm not like the cool girls. I'm the other girl, the one that's basically a nerd, but proud of that." This is a statement I feel most of us can likely relate to.
Not as good at her, okay? But my friend does it with me all the time, Sandra. What is it, Sandra? Should I do the Lele? Oh, she's listening to a show. All right, so I do.
Lele has also been outspoken about her battles with mental illness and has revealed that she struggles regularly with Tourette's syndrome, ADHD, and severe OCD. Each of these conditions can be debilitating on its own, but the fact that Lele is having to deal with all three seems utterly unbearable. Though Lele displayed a profound amount of bravery by revealing her struggles with her fans. For some reason, mental health has been a very taboo topic for decades, but we are finally seeing some rather big-name celebrities speak out against mental illness and help to showcase the fact that help is readily available for virtually every mental health condition you could imagine. Regardless of what you may be going through, there is a resource available to help you through it, even if you just need to talk it over with someone. It's incredibly heartwarming to see Lele using her fame to make the world a slightly better place, rather than simply cashing in off her tremendous amount of followers.
Since I was a little girl, I had different OCDs. OCD is more like you're obsessed with something. It can be rituals, it can be like numbers, it can be anything, but it takes over.
Lele's launch to stardom. Lele began posting to Vine several years ago, sometime around 2015. She was a big fan of the 6-second platform, as it allowed her to fully express herself in ways she would have otherwise been unable to. She mentioned that she started using Vine to showcase all of the creative endeavors she was already taking part in. Vine was an easy way to get involved with a creative community and share things that she had been working on. She said, "I started with my friends and I started becoming bad. At first it was just being really creative. It wasn't even funny stuff." She continued, saying, "It got to the point where a lot of people depended on me to make videos just so they could laugh." As she continued her career on Vine, she became the first Vine star to reach 1 million video loops. Her success on Vine didn't come without several people who wished to see her career end. Many were critical of her videos, claiming that they were poorly written and lack any real creative ability. Cody Ko, a former Vine star, commented on Lele's sketches and said that he felt as though her videos were written by a 4-year-old, though others were incredibly supportive of Lele's talent. Ali Jones, a writer for The Cut, mentioned that Lele's comedy was universal, physical, and complete with a twist ending. Quite a positive review. Regardless of the needless criticism, she continued to create on Vine and managed to land a contract with an entertainment company known as Shot Studio. She still works alongside the studio today, with the company helping her to create the best content possible for her viewer base. Aside from her career online, Lele has also starred in a few Hollywood productions. She made an appearance in the MTV series Scream, where she played the role of the series' first victim. She had appeared in several music videos as well, and has even even recorded music of her own. Outside of music, she has done well as a model. She worked with CoverGirl and in 2017 became an ambassador for the brand. Immediately following her work with CoverGirl, she performed a fashion show in Milan. Her career only continued to grow from here, with Lele finding all sorts of success as an entertainer, host, presenter, and so much more. Though her career took a major shift when she announced in April 2020 that she would be releasing a 5-part docuseries called The Secret Life of Lele Pons. She revealed that this series would document her struggles as both a child and an adult dealing with mental health conditions. The series was released in May of 2020 and fans were shocked by what they learned. Lele's Secret Life. When Lele released her docuseries, she spoke about the symptoms and issues she faced with severe obsessive-compulsive disorder. She mentioned that this condition had made an incredibly negative impact in her personal life and career. She opened herself up to her viewers and fans and became incredibly raw and honest with everyone watching. She said that she is working diligently to overcome the stigma that is associated with having a lifelong mental health condition and labeled her battle with OCD her deepest, darkest secret, even though she has been very vocal about her struggles. She says she is still very uncomfortable speaking about her condition publicly. She says, when you have a condition that controls you most of the time, you wish you didn't have it. She says that she has struggled so deeply with OCD that she has gone to month-long treatment programs on multiple occasions.
My name is Lele Pons and I suffer from OCD, Tourette's, ADHD, and depression.
It's important to explain that OCD is not necessarily the disorder that many people think it is. There seems to be a general idea in America that OCD is simply wanting to do things incredibly organized and tidy all the time. That isn't the case at all. OCD is often associated with individuals who are on the autism spectrum, though there are many people in the world who are diagnosed with OCD and are not autistic at all. OCD often results in the victim having repeated negative thought patterns and can cause them to develop an incredibly deep depression and isolate themselves from others. It can also cause physical patterns, such as repeated bodily movements that can interfere with daily life. These usually present themselves in the form of opening and shutting a drawer a specific number of times, repeatedly washing your hands a specific number of times, locking a car door a specific number of times. Pretty much any normal part of daily life can trigger a repeated action that is often repeated in an incredibly specific frequency.
I just have to do one more time.
Don't do it.
Because I did it 2 times.
No,
3.
no,
Just one more time.
No, hold on to it. You can. We're gonna do it together.
Many individuals with OCD often learn that they have a specific number associated with actions, such as 3 or 7. This means that more often than not, when they repeat a task, they will repeat it that many times. So if a victim finds himself triggered with hand washing, they may wash their hands 7 times before leaving the sink. It has been theorized that this is due to an overactive fear response that causes the victim to feel as though something bad will happen if they don't complete the task perfectly in a certain number of times. Though this is just a theory, when you combine the repeated movements, negative spiraling thought patterns, and depression that is often associated with the illness, it's easy to understand why Lele kept her diagnosis a secret. It's often an incredibly difficult illness for most people to understand, as the stigma associated with it commonly labels OCD people as being overly tidy and organized, when this simply isn't the case and could not be further from the truth. Lele struggled with OCD. Lele took things to another level when she demonstrated her battles with OCD in the series. She mentioned that her number is 3, so she will feel compelled to repeat the task 3 times. She mentions the exact things we just discussed. If she doesn't repeat the task 3 times, she feels as though something terrible will happen. It's borderline impossible to determine what this terrible thing could be, but an overwhelming sense of fear will often take over, though you can associate that fear with any particular consequence or reaction. The documentary shows Lele finally break down and begin crying as her therapist urges her not to repeat her action for the 3rd time. You can see the struggle Lele is putting on herself throughout the session. Lele spoke with Entertainment Tonight and said, "I do a lot of touching, a lot of checking. I touch things, everything. I talk to someone, but I repeat myself 3 times and they don't notice. I touch something 3 times. Sometimes I even get nervous when I say or do something 2 times and I'm like, I need to go back. Everything is so calculated. When it comes to thoughts, I have fear of, if I don't do this 3 times, something bad is going to happen." And you really, truly believe it. It's not normal, you know? Because I know for a fact that nothing bad is going to happen, but the feeling is so there that you actually believe it. It's just hard.
It's just really hard because there's triggers, and in OCD, if you are triggered, let's just say to do something, You have to do it.
We hope Lele is able to continue her path to recovery and find ways to cope and manage with her illness efficiently. But for the immediate moment, Lele is seriously struggling in her daily life over a disorder that she simply cannot control.